welcome back to Guilt-Free Mind. In today's video, I have something exquisite to discuss. It's obviously related to mental health, but it's something that we all understand and have experienced probably at one point of our life or other. It is anxiety. Yes, you heard it correct. I am discussing the weird topic of anxiety. We all have gone through it. Some of us understand it. Some of us don't. Some of us may have gone through it and yet not understood that it was anxiety. So, was there ever a situation where you had to submit your report or make a presentation in overnight, or you have an exam coming up and you were not ready for it, and suddenly you started feeling these butterflies in your stomach, your heart literally started pounding out of your chest, as the phrase goes. You probably had to visit the washroom a few times, your tummy wasn't feeling well, you felt like you had fever, nothing was right with your health. And on top of that, you had an exam or a presentation right the next day. If you felt any of these symptoms in a stressful environment, you suffered from anxiety. Now, we all go through anxiety at one point or the other, and that's perfectly all right. This anxiety, this feeling that we have, the pressure that we feel, helps us perform better in our work. Whether it's your workplace or it's your school or it's your college work, whatever it is, if you feel that pressure, it actually helps you perform better. It makes you more focused. It makes you more concentrate. It helps you concentrate better on the work and actually give it your best shot. Now, anxiety also occurs when there is a fight or flight response by the body. Suppose you are on a jungle safari and suddenly this lion comes out of nowhere and climbs on your van. That pounding feeling that you get in your chest, that is your fight or flight response. There's a sudden rush of adrenaline and your body is gearing up to either fight the lion or to run away from the lion. So these also come under anxiety, but as I mentioned, anxiety can be helpful in certain cases. But if you are suffering from anxiety on a regular basis, if you feel that you're suddenly having this feeling of intense fear and terror and you don't know why, and this feeling continues, as in suppose you have one episode today, you have one episode 2 days later, you have one episode again within a week. If this is happening, this is not okay. This type of anxiety is not okay. This means that you are suffering from an anxiety disorder. Now, the problem with anxiety is that if it becomes too much, it can interfere with your daily life. It can interfere with your interpersonal relationships. It can interfere with your performance at your work, at your home, at your school, college, anywhere, wherever you're working. So anxiety is something that needs to be nipped at the bud, right at the start, or as soon as you realize that you have anxiety. The primary way in which you can realize that you have anxiety is those feelings of panic, stress, sudden, traumatization with regards to what's coming, sudden fear of the unknown. All these things, if you're having them recurrently, do not ignore them. If something falls and you're afraid, you have a presentation and you're afraid to talk to your boss, you're afraid to talk to your colleagues, you're afraid to talk to your friends. If you are feeling that way with regards to anything, if you have to talk about anything with your friend, you're afraid. If you have to say anything to your boss, you are afraid. You get a presentation, you are afraid. How will I finish it? Oh my god, this is too much for me. I don't think I can do it. What if I don't do well enough? What if my boss fires me from the job? What will I do then? If you have this kind of an escalating panic mode, that has become recurrent in your life, you have anxiety, and that needs to be dealt with as soon as possible. Now, there are many types of anxieties, and the symptoms of anxiety can vary depending on which type of anxiety you have. So I will give you a list of the primary symptoms of anxiety. If you have more than 2 of these symptoms, you should consult a medical practitioner, psychologist, or a psychiatrist and identify if you really have anxiety or not. So some of the common symptoms are feelings of nervousness, tension, lots of stress, restlessness. You constantly have a body part that's moving, like some people move their legs constantly when they're stressed, or you might just pick up a handkerchief and just keep turning it around in your finger because you're worried. If you notice such symptoms happening recurrently along with a few others, you may have anxiety. So the few other symptoms you should look out for are having this sense of panic or impending doom. As I said, my boss will fire me, I cannot talk to my colleague. Oh my god, if I tell her, what will she feel about me? Oh my god, this is going to go so bad. Oh my god, my life is in hell. I just cannot do anything, I'm worthless. These feelings are not okay. They are not normal. Then having an increased heart rate, heart palpitations, stuff like that, rapid breathing or hyperventilation, as I've already explained. You're sweating from your head to toe, even when you're under the AC. Then you're trembling, you're feeling weak, you're feeling tired, your tummy is acting funny, you're unable to concentrate on any work that you're doing, you are unable to sleep because you constantly have thoughts of impending doom. You have gastrointestinal problems, as I mentioned, your tummy feels funny. You have a difficulty in bringing your worries under control. You talk to people, but that does not help. And you have this feeling, sometimes people get this feeling that I just want to sleep and I want to wake up when this problem is over. If you are feeling that way, you are having an episode of anxiety, because sleeping your troubles away is never an option, though many times we feel like that we'll just run away to this place, run away to that place, and we'll stay there till the problem gets over and we'll come back when the problem is over. This is not really an option in our lives. So if you're feeling that way recurrently, then you are suffering from anxiety. Now, as I mentioned, there are many forms or types of anxiety. So one of them is agoraphobia. Now, in agoraphobia, what happens is that people start to avoid the places which cause them worry or make them afraid. Like if you are afraid your boss will, scold you for a project you're not able to finish, you stop going to the office. You start avoiding your colleagues. If you're worried about a project presentation that you've not done for your college, you stop going to college itself. You start avoiding your friends. You stop, interacting with your teachers. You are that worried. This is agoraphobia. Next is if you have anxiety due to a medical condition. Suppose you are not keeping well, and that itself is causing anxiety. Many people are worried. I mean, I worry too, but not that much. But there are a lot of people, if they have fever, their brain takes them to places like, what if this is cancer? What if I'm having fever because of the cancer? What if my fever is related to a terminal disease? And that induces anxiety. So if you have that kind of feeling, you have an anxiety disorder due to a medical condition. Now, this anxiety disorder also includes the anxiety that is induced by the medication. Sometimes the medications you get can cause heart palpitations, excessive sweating, hands and feet trembling, tremors. These are caused due to medication. This could be side effect of medication, and you may be suffering from anxiety because of this. Then there is generalized anxiety disorder. Did I lock the door? Did I switch off all the gas burners? What if I left the AC on and the house burns down? Did I switch off all the candles? This is generalized anxiety disorder. I mean, I don't have to tell you, a lot of people have generalized anxiety disorders. I have met many of them who would go out and come back in just to check that they have locked all the doors and windows. They'll go back out, they'll come back again to check whether they've locked the main door or not. This is actually very troublesome. Not only for the person who's feeling it, also for the people around them. Then there is panic disorder. If you start getting panic attacks within minutes of something that induces a feeling of fear or terror. But panic attacks are most often related to PTSD. If you had a past trauma, you may have a panic attack seeing that situation. Like I used to get panic attacks because I was in a car accident. So if I would watch movies where there were scenes of accidents and the car suddenly turning over and stuff like that, I would start to hyperventilate. I have it under control now, but this used to happen. So this is something that is like a panic disorder. Then there is selective mutism. Now, selective mutism mainly occurs in case of kids. In this, kids find it very hard to speak in front of a teacher, in front of people who have authority, and this can have a huge impact on the development of the kid. So if you notice a child, if you're a teacher or if you're a parent and your kid is displaying such signs and symptoms, do not ignore them. Take your kid to a psychologist as soon as possible. Next is social phobia. People just avoid social situations, social gatherings, parties and stuff because they're afraid that they'll be judged, or someone will pass a sarcastic remark or say something that they just won't like. Then there are specific phobias. Some people are afraid, like terrified of lizards. Some people are afraid of other reptiles. Some people are afraid of dogs. I find it hard to understand how can anyone be afraid of dogs, but there are people. I am sometimes phobic to humans. Besides the point. So some people are afraid. Some people are afraid of cats. Some people cannot stand the sight of spiders. So these would be phobias. Some people are also afraid of heights. If you put them in a tall building from the top floor and ask them to look down, they may start to hyperventilate. Then there is substance-induced anxiety disorder. This primarily happens if a person is on drugs or alcohol and either stops taking those drugs or because of taking drugs. Withdrawal can also cause anxiety. Even when you are on drugs and you haven't taken it for a while, that can cause anxiety. If you're on alcohol, you're drinking, and then after drinking also you may have anxiety. It can aggravate your anxiety if you already have anxiety. Then there are unspecified anxiety disorders. This specifically refers to those anxiety disorders which do not fit the criteria of a specific anxiety disorder. So this was about all the types of anxiety disorders that are there. Now, when should you consult a doctor? As I mentioned before, if you have feelings of worry, and these worries are not something that you can bring under control by yourself. You talk to your parents, you talk to your spouse, you talk to your friends, but despite talking, you are not able to get that worry under control. Somehow it feels that nothing is working out. See a doctor. Second scenario, your worry is starting to interfere with your work, or that thought that is constantly rummaging around in your head is not allowing you to concentrate on your work, is not allowing you to carry on your day-to-day activities. Go see a doctor. Your anxiety, your fear, your heart palpitations, your sweating, your sensations that you're feeling are impossible for you to bring under control. Go see a doctor. Your anxiety you feel is linked to a health problem or a medication you are taking, definitely see a doctor. In this case, if it's related to medication, go to the doctor who has given you the medication and not to a psychologist. If stopping the medication can help, then you need to consult your doctor and ask him to switch your medications to another one so that you don't have these side effects. Then, if you are having thoughts of ending your life or ending everything, go see a doctor. If you have worries that is not going away on its own, go see a doctor. Please go see a doctor. Don't take anxiety lightly. A lot of people do that, and that is a huge mistake. I request you, please go to a doctor if you feel the need. No one else will understand your problem. Only you can judge yourself, what you are feeling and what you're going through. So if you feel these symptoms, go to a doctor and take care of yourself. This was all about this video. I will see you in my next video. Let me know if you want me to talk about any specific topic regarding anxiety, depression, anything. It can be anything. I will talk about it. And take care of yourself, and I will see you in my next video, and bye bye.